Welcome, everybody. It's your boy, the Versace Stoner, with another episode of VSW. Thank you, everybody. Tonight, we're here again with Disabled Wolf.
Whoa!
And we are recapping Limitless Wrestling's Double Vision. What a spectacle that took place Friday night.
So we're not recapping the season finale of WandaVision with the two Vision? Oh, spoiler alert. Wrong platform.
Wrong platform. This is not a Disney Plus servicing streaming recap. But this is a Limitless Wrestling recap with the greatest wrestling in the state of Maine that took place Friday night. A new Limitless champion was crowned. And you know the procedure of that title. You know where all those previous champions have been and where they are going to now and where they are.
Top talent, baby.
Top talent. But we'll get to all that tonight on this episode of VSW. Let's start out with the first match you have listed and let's go over it.
All right, so the debut match, the leadoff match on the card is Alec Price versus Myron Reed.
You know, I'm going to have to say, well, first of all, we'll go to the kickoff match later on. There was a kickoff show at 6:45 that had one match in there. But we'll do that at the end. That's fine. But that Myron Reed match, I have to say, was, really impressive. Now, you know he's an ex-MLW champion.
Yes, he is. He is on an MLW to speak with.
Yeah, he's still on there with them. He's in an excellent top condition in his wrestling career right now. Really impressive. But the Prize City OG is the Prize City OG. He's one of the top in the game. Like I said, in the next 2 years...
Loving that van he sells shit from.
Oh, yeah, right? The swag that comes out of there, I need to get myself and cop something. But, this kid can wrestle. He's got the right attitude. He's very cocky. But that's okay, because with it comes the talent. If you can back up what you say, you're fine in my book.
And boy, does he back up, and he's got some stuff he can open his own thrift store with, too.
Oh, yeah, he can. He'll make money both ways, before the show and at the show. More than hot dogs and handshakes for Alec Price, that's for sure. So that was a great victory, I think. And, that match was a good match, though.
Great opener, and it leads for future episodes because he's an upcoming heel, and Myron Reed looked good too. I liked his body gear like they wear at the military. He had some good moves and some suplexes, but the Prize OG came up on top.
Oh yeah, he did. He really, really did. And like I said, he's gonna be going places in the next few years. And when he does, I'm going to be along to watch the ride. Like with all these guys, that have been moving on in the last few months. I've been following them for a few years now. That's great. I love following the talent from beginning to when they're at their lowest point, starting off, young, fresh. And you can see their gimmick change, but you can also see how they've improved in their game and how each match they get better and better and they learn new tricks and tips and they just get better and better and better until they get to the next step and all of a sudden, there they are. They're top of the game. And you knew them back when. So what other matches do we got next on that card?
The next one we have was a triple threat match between Ken Broadway, Charles Manson, and Kevin Blackwood.
This was a very interesting matchup in my opinion with these guys. They're all aggressive fighters. It reminded me more of an MMA fight than a wrestling match, the way these guys present themselves. And Blackwood dominated.
Huge, especially if his influence from Garcia.
Him and Garcia are tight. And I think that, that influence did help him take home that victory. And that, it really proves he belongs in the Limitless world. He's now solidified that he belongs there and he's moving to the next level of the game. And he was wicked aggressive, and like that's what I like to see, those kind of matches. But he just, like I said, he reminded me of an MMA fighter. He's very agile. He's very quick on his feet. He's technically sound. Blackwood is a very great wrestler.
Absolutely. Do you think that there'll be a partnership with him and Garcia? Like maybe they'll contending in the tag team division in the future?
I could see that happening, or maybe a small stable starting. Limitless only has one title. I would say if there was a secondary title, I would say Blackwood would be receiving that, and they would both be taking the titles. But, they only have the one title. So I don't see them facing each other right now. There's other people in line, of course. A lot of other people. Davion got her eyes on that prize.
Absolutely. You got Ava Everett. You even got someone like Ashley Vox, too, that could be intergender champion.
You got, almost anybody that could do this. So, like I said, but, Blackwood came out strong. Great matchup. It was a very exciting three-way match. I was impressed. I'd give it like a 4-star match.
Fair enough. It was a pretty good match for something that was overshadowed by the next few matches on the card.
Of course.
But it was more like a showcase to...
what I liked about this card is that it just kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
I think the double vision card was designed to keep people watching in the future, especially if they have regular shows back with fans in the stand. They want to focus on the younger talent to keep your eyes on, too. And then,
really?
Yeah, like all these guys like Blackwood and Price winning, and you got Love Doug, who we'll talk about later. Like, there's storylines with these guys developing their personas, whether they're faces or heels. And this next match is a veteran and an up-and-coming star. But this female match, it was one of my favorite matches that I know a lot about, was Scrunchy Squad, Basic Becca versus Ashley Vox of the Sea Stars. That was a phenomenal match. These two ladies can go at it all day.
This is women's wrestling at its finest. It's what Limitless delivers to us day in and day out when it comes to that division. I have yet to see a female that cannot perform at Limitless. But these two in general are at the top of their game. Right now, Becca is everywhere. She is the reigning chaotic women's champion, beating Ava Everett for that. She is ripping it apart in Limitless. Scrunchy Scott is well known now. You got people wanting to join. Before, they hated it
and put it on.
Right? Maybe here at the VSW we want some scrunchies. We'll wear them on our podcast. I remember a couple of years ago before the pandemic, I got to see her wrestle at NCW. And, she was very impressive, and I was very impressed to see her. It was the first time I saw her wrestle, and I was like, this girl's going to go someplace, And after the pandemic, I kept following her on social, and I kept seeing her in more and more matches and more places. And, now she's just all over the place.
This is one of the very few wrestlers in the world that's been benefiting from this pandemic.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And she does great on her social media pages. She really does. It's really something to follow. But, that's not taking anything away from the superstar that Ashley Vox is.
She even got some matches on AEW Dark.
Yeah, she did. And that's, AEW Dark is, where they pull talent from. And, that's where they pull their pool from. They're always showcasing the indie scene. And if they like you, they're going to ask you to come back and continue to come back until you get a contract.
This whole thing, it was hard to say who was the face or the heel. Maybe the fans decide in this one, because it was more about how Ashley Vox just hated the whole idea of Becca and the Scrunchy Squad thinking she's a weirdo, and Becca being very obsessive, like to piss her off and being obsessed with her scrunchies. You know how she is.
Yeah, exactly. I know. She wasn't impressed at all with Scrunchy Squad. But, that doesn't stop Becca from wanting everybody to feel the love of the scrunchie. She will push it on you till you wear it. If she doesn't, she'll beat you to you, really.
She really will. And the whole thing is a very back and forth match with backflips and everything with their athleticism with the two ladies. But it was ended up with, speaking of that scrunchie, Becca using it to basically handcuff Fox and like distract her, getting the W for the night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and I think, in a lot of people's eyes, I think it was an upset victory. I don't think they were expecting Becca to walk away with that.
I don't think so either, especially the veteran leadership that Ashley Fox has bought in the indie scene.
It's insane. It really is truly insane.
I could see her getting picked up in AEW or even MLW to wreak havoc in the women's division. She's got the potential, great shape, everything.
Oh, yeah. These, both of these women within the next year could go to the next level. You could see them on Prime TV, on Wednesday nights, maybe even Monday nights. The sky's the limit in the wrestling world. The more you put into it, the more, you're going to get out of it. And these people give it their all. I just want to talk, about people that give it their all before we go on to your further matches that we have for the night. At 6:45 that night, there was an open challenge by Mac Daniels with John Alba. And, the person I'm talking about that gives it their all is none other than Love Doug.
Love Doug, love you.
And, Love Doug has been one of my favorite, newest indie wrestlers on the scene. I've seen him and watched him in multiple promotions. I've seen him on Chaotic as well and other promotions. Just, the charisma that this kid holds is unbelievable.
He does a very good job getting a newcomer to the indie scene like myself. I'm new to the Limitless and the whole road and everything. I've been beyond an old school Chaotic, but being that, Love Doug has gotten my attention, one of the most out of all the wrestlers. He's hilarious. He
is. He makes it fun to watch, but he also, he puts on a show. He's very talented in the ring. He might not be able to get that victory yet, but like I said, he gives it all, and he loves it, and he loves you, and that's really what's important, right, Doug? The love.
Love, dude.
But that was on the pre-show. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that was on the pre-show of the night. If you had missed it, and just tuned in at IWTV at 7 o'clock. That was being shown earlier that night.
I think I know why, because like you talked about, Love Doug is new to the indie scene, but so is these two guys. Two is that they were having vigilantes for the road the whole time about them being Emmy winners and how the manager wanted to get his first win so badly.
Oh, John Alba, he gives it his all too. And, Mac Daniels, he won the match, and he gave a really great display. I was very impressed with this victory.
And he was insulting Love Doug the whole time. It was more like every time he used the move on Love Doug, he was screaming on the top of his lungs.
Oh, yeah, it was an overall entertaining segment and a great match. And it was a great way to open up the event before that first match. I was just jumping and ready to go.
Oh, me too.
But let's get back onto that match. So, we had that, we had the women's match there.
And our next match was Tyree Taylor versus Big Beef Narvis Garvin.
These two was a complete hoss battle.
Battle of two big guys trying to showcase themselves, trying to distance themselves from guys that are regular height on that show and everything.
Tyree Taylor is he's a big dude and he's very powerful and very strong. But Big Beef backs down from no one. And he came strong. He brought his A game. He took the victory. It was a battle, though. You could tell they were in a battle.
Big time. This was more like a middle of the match, right to bleed into the way of the main event matches for the night and the bigger storylines. I think the two competitive big guys were trying to separate themselves to get to the potential Limitless title down the road.
Yes. And Like I said, we don't see... If this was the 80s, 70s, 80s, early 90s, I wouldn't be surprised. But, in today's world of wrestling, you don't see much of the big man. You don't see much of the powerhouses. Everybody's an athlete today. That's fine. It's a different sport. People are much more healthier. You got guys that are much more healthier than they were ever back in the 80s. People like Andre the Giant, King Kong Bundy, they were in shape, but they weren't healthy. The guys say are healthy, but we don't see a lot of big guys anymore in wrestling. It's like you guys had
Tugboat and Earthquake. Those guys weren't in good shape at all.
No. And even Yokozuna wasn't in good shape. He was when he first started, but by the end of his career, he was horribly in bad shape. It's what ultimately killed him, was his health. And, I hate to say it, but those earlier generations of wrestlers really didn't take care of themselves. But you don't see that today. You see much more athletic people, but with that, you don't see the big heavy hitters anymore so much. You got a few in WWE, you got Braun Strowman, you got Otis, you got some big guys, but you don't see the power like you used to see. You don't see those King Kong Bundys. You don't see the Haystack Kowloons. You don't see these big powerhouses going at each other. And I think this match brought that for me. It brought the powerhouse momentum. It brought the big man feel to the game. I liked this match. It woke me up mid the pay-per-view, and it really got to me,
Absolutely. You got that right. And for the next match of the night was Rip Bison versus Rob Killjoy. Two great up-and-comers.
Oh, my God. You had
Red
Ripper.
Meat.
Yeah, it was great. Ripper Pot of Mad used to wrestle with Perry Von Vicious, in the tag team divisions. And then I saw him doing singles at Pandemic at the dojo wrestler. He's actually got an up-and-coming fight this Wednesday with Alexander Lee. That should be a really battle. But,
a dog collar match.
Yeah. Ripper reminds me of someone that should be in Demolition. He's a great throwback wrestler, very powerhouse. With that being said, Rob Killjoy is a tremendous wrestler. He's just crazy. Like, that was an insane match. If you shut off the commentary and just watch the facial expressions and watch what goes on, it was almost like a horror show. These two were beating the hell out of each other.
Absolutely. That was a great match, but the victory went to Rip Bison, who is leading his way to dog collar match against Alexander Lee, who's been bullying all these young up-and-comers on the Limitless Dojo.
Well, I think, Alexander Lee is going to find his match with this one. I don't know. Dylan Nix came very close last week with it. But I think, Ripper is going to have a few more surprises for Alexander Lee. He's very physical. He's very brutal. There's going to be a lot of destruction, violence. It's going to be a great battle. Everything like this was. It was a war zone. Like I said, Rob Killjoy, nothing against him. He did wonderful. He could have taken the victory. Rip was just a little bit stronger in the end.
Big time. That was a great match overall. But now we get to the big main events of the night. This one has a best friend vibe, or it's kind of like guys who are close turning on each other, like Edge or Chris Jericho or Shawn Michaels, Triple H type vibe. But it was two females who teamed up as Ava Everett and Davian.
Speaking of that vibe, though, as soon as I saw this vibe, I got that Bayley Sasha vibe.
Oh, me too.
As soon as I saw it, that's what I got. That Bayley Sasha vibe. Two best friends. And it broke up. And, Ava has been...
Did she develop a new personality with formerly known as Anthony Green August Gray when she had her move into Florida?
I don't know, man, but, she went to Florida for a little bit. She seemed to have come back, and she
ain't no platinum, honey, that's for sure anymore.
She's come back with a vengeance, though. She is wild.
Oh, no.
She is attacking. She opened that match before the bell rang.
Yeah, attacking Davian after a match with T.J. Crawford to open up season 3 of the Road main event, and then she became like your ex-girlfriend if she could beat people up. That's what Ava Everett's been.
Oh, yeah.
Ex-girlfriend.
The crazy ex. And, She is nuts, though, and she had vengeance. She wanted Davion, and that's what she got. She opened it up the match. She attacked right before the bell, and she kept and was relentless right to the end. Davion is a powerhouse. Like I said, she's next in line probably for that world title. She is a tremendous athlete. She has some of the most powerfulest moves in the game.
Her suplexes are really good.
Oh, they're unbelievable, They're up there with Kaz. And, she's top of the line. She can pull the best promos. But Ava Everett, the Ava Taker, really just wanted to destroy her.
Big time. And Davian felt betrayed because they were starting to team up. They were starting to win so many matches and potentially bring some intergender matches to the tag team division.
Exactly, and then this happened. But I don't know where it's going to go from here.
But I think it could have been a really good match. It was great, don't get me wrong, but if Davian didn't get hit from behind, the match would have ended differently.
If it was a normal start, I think Davion might have come out a little bit more strong. She would have had the power to begin with, and she would have dominated more aggressively to start the match. She was clearly blindsided and didn't get the full experience of being able to come out and fight a fair fight.
But Ava Everett said she never wants to wrestle her ever again.
Nope, and she probably won't. When Ava says something, she means it, so she'll be on to the next thing. And Davion, I don't know where she's going to go, but I think she's going to go to the top. She's not going to let this loss really hurt her too much. I think she's going to keep pushing. If anything,
she'll be more aggressive and start winning her next few matches.
Exactly. There's no other better way than she can hurt Ava Everett is to show her that she is victorious and she becomes that limitless champion and flaunt it in her face.
Oh, yeah. This next match was the tag team triple threat between the Limitless main favorites, the MSP, Mainstay Posse with Danger Kid and Aiden Agro, versus the Kids, Ricky Archer and ZJ Cruz, and the competition of Connor Murphy and Champ Matthews, who've been on a roll lately.
Oh, I know. Yes, let's just start it off. The competition took this match. Was I a little surprised? Yeah, a little bit. You have one of the best tag teams in New England around MSP. You had the team up of Archer.
Seen MSP many times wrestle.
Exactly. You had these veterans in the ring. CJ Cruz, Rick Archer, MSP. It could have been anybody's real match, but you have, the competition. And I'm going to say, they've are like 3-0 right now. And I think they're undefeated on an undisputed streak.
Well, they made the tag team more relevant because at the kickoff match of the first match of the episode 2 of season 3 of The Road, MSP and Cruz and Archer were having a really good match, and then the competition comes, attacks both of them.
Oh, yeah.
In the process.
They're here to make a statement, okay? They're not playing. They're the competition for a reason. And they're not just dominating in Limitless. I've seen them dominating other promotions. They're killing it in Chaotic as well. They're killing it all throughout New England. And they're definitely a tag team to watch because they could break through at any moment.
Because MSP are dojo veterans. They wrestled in NCW, Chaotic, winning the Chaotic titles.
Do you remember where we were? A year ago, we saw some breakout talents. We saw Bear Country versus the Rep at Please Come Back. And, where'd we see Bear Country next?
AEW.
Exactly. So look out for these people because they can move fast. They dominate the board fast, and they get on the map. And that's all it takes is to be noticed by one person, 2 people, 3 people. All of a sudden, it's 1 million people, and you're on your way to stardom.
MSP could easily be in AEW or NXT within the next year.
Oh, easily. MSP is a tremendous team. And, and that's taken, again, Ricky Archer is one of my favorite wrestlers.
Hey, Cruz is really good, too, but
they're Limitless veterans, and, I think that...
But I think both these teams realized they would turn face, and the other team was turned face in the process, realized, why don't they use this opportunity to get the tag team scene in the main event level and Limitless and potentially create a tag team title for them someday.
Oh, I would hope so. I would really love to see a tag team title in Limitless. Like I was saying, eventually, more so than anything else. Like, I'd rather, I don't think they need so much a women's title. I think all the women could compete. But the main championship
are easily stand-outable for someone who's new to Limitless.
Exactly. So I don't think they need their own title. I think they could easily go after the world title. They're all world title caliber. But they could use a mid-card because there is some mid-card wrestlers. Like I said, you have people Rip Bison, Prize City Kid, all these people.
TJ Crawford, who I wish was on the card.
Oh, yeah. TJ, one of my favorite wrestlers in New England right now. He's been lighting it up. So you have all these people, that we can go to.
Finally, but the competition did come up with the victory, though, which MSP, which they trapped Aiden Agro trying to break the pin against Danger Kid, and he couldn't do it in time. So.
He couldn't, but it was a legal move. It was all legal. There was no cheating. And that's all that matters, as long as it's legal.
The competition might want to try to jump more people in Limitless in the future. I wouldn't be surprised if they become like Alexander Lee, but they attack two random singles wrestlers, maybe try to get them talking at the top.
Oh, exactly. And I just can't wait to see what's next in store for these guys. Who are they going to challenge next? They've taken out the best of Limitless so far. Maybe we see a matchup between, if you talked earlier about a Garcia Blackwood matchup. That might be a dominant team to take on the competition someday.
Oh, absolutely. They could be up in the inaugural tag team champs, but I think MSP would be the perfect inaugural tag team champs for Limitless.
Oh, they would be. I mean, they're the stable team. They're Maine. They are what makes Maine wrestling. And I've seen them in a few different promotions, a few different times. And
they always deliver with the Pooey.
And you know what else is great about MSP? And what's great about all these wrestlers is they're not just, great wrestlers. They're great people. I've seen them on social media. I see what they say. They're just good people. They fight good causes. They take on the world. They fight for equality and respect, love. They're just great people to follow and do what they do. They're not bad role models. If anything, they're freedom fighters, and they're people that we should be looking up to.
Absolutely. And finally, the next match is the main event of the evening of Double Vision. And it was a newly WWE Performance Center recruit, Limitless champion, top talent Christian Casanova, facing the one and only MMA-style Daniel Garcia. And that was a phenomenal
This was a 5-star matchup, okay? Christian Casanova is top talent. He is a number 1 star. He just won that title at the Vacation Land Cup.
After Anthony Green left to go to WWE.
Yep, he left. If you look at the Limitless history, their first champion was MJF.
The salt of the earth. He's a very nice human.
Now, we know where he is, okay?
We all know
Anthony Green became the champion after that. He is now in the WWE. You can see him at 205 Live as August Gray. But before that, he lit up the indie scene in New England.
Every indie promotion, big or small, Anthony Green was always there.
Exactly.
Always there for the fans, too.
Great guy. Last year in the pandemic, I talked to him a few times, and he was just a great overall person to talk to.
Some promotions he was strictly face, some strictly heel. Platinum Honeys.
But always a fan favorite, no matter which side he played. I actually am sad to not see him around the indie circuit so much because he was always someone I would enjoy watching at these shows. But
Uncle Jesse of wrestling.
Exactly.
Have mercy.
But you know what? He relinquished the title, didn't lose it, just left it vacant. And, that's what Garcia said. You're not going to leave like that. You're not leaving the winner. You're not leaving with the title. There's only one way you're going to leave this place, and that's going to be losing that title. And he's going to take it. And that's exactly what Garcia did. He took the title. He became the new Limitless World Champion.
And there was no screw job either.
No screw jobs. Nobody had to get involved to ring the bell. It was a fair match. And Garcia just was the better wrestler that night. Simply put.
And I love the ovation they gave for Canova at the end when the whole roster taps the ring and chants, "Thank you, Christian."
Oh, you have to thank Christian.
Pretty sad not to see him in the Indies anymore.
He's another one I'm gonna miss seeing. You know, we got to see him a few places again. Evolve,
Beyond,
chaotic. I saw him wrestle all over New England, and he's always put on a show. One of my favorite wrestlers. I love the Versace print. Hopefully WWE lets him at least keep that. I hope so. But, you know, whatever it might come down to, I hope and wish you the best of luck, Christian. I know you're going to kill it out there. You know, but meanwhile, back at Limitless, I think Garcia, it is his time. It's Red Death's time.
Especially when you got Kevin Blackwood coming off the triple threat victory, backing him up too.
You know, that's going to be a strong team, strong stable. Whatever they decide to do, there's going to be no bullshitting around. No one's going to be able to touch these guys for a minute.
And he's an MMA experienced fighter too, isn't he?
He is, you know, and these people can fight. Like, his style of fighting, I could see him in, like, New Japan.
Gives me that Silva vibes for UFC.
Something, yeah, it does, you know, and we don't see a lot of that anymore today. Back in, like, the early 90s, we saw a lot of that. We had people like Ken Shamrock and all these guys fighting. A lot of people had that style. They don't nowadays. We don't have that Blackwood styles wrestles so much. But, you know, now we do with these guys. And I think it's going to be...
I could see TJ Crawford taking him on for the title at some point.
Oh, he's definitely in line for a title shot.
Or Davey N.
Davey N will be going after that title eventually. I don't see Garcia saying no to anybody. I think he'll take on all challenges. He's a stand-up guy. He believes in wrestling. Like he said, he's going to be here chasing championships, chasing victories. And I think that's what he's going to do, chase victories. He's going to continue to win, continue to build that legacy for himself at Limitless until he's reached where he can't reach no more, and then he'll move on to a bigger and better promotion if that's possible. But like I said, anybody that's gotten that title has moved on. So, who knows if, that good curse will continue with Garcia.
Before we sign off for the night, Versace, I want to thank Randy Carver for acknowledging Versace Stoner as a sponsor. I look forward to having a relationship with you guys. And I was sad we didn't get to go for Anthony Green versus Chris Statlander, but obvious circumstances with the pandemic. Hopefully someday I'll get to know the whole roster better, not just the main event, women or men. I'm learning, and I'm really loving the road. Keep up the good work, guys.
Yeah, but that being said, I'd like to thank the whole roster of Limitless. Thank you very much, not for just Double Vision, but for the whole pandemic. Starting with, pandemic at the dojo. You guys have entertained. You've given it your all. You've continued to show what you have in and outside of the ring. I thank you all. It was a great show. And continue doing what you do best. Stay safe, everyone. Versace Stoner out.
Disable out. See ya.
Peace.